No! Kanero Shindo! Why? Naked Island was one of the best movies of all time. It was one of the first movies that got me into the Criterion Collection. I finally noticed he was gone this week because they had cinema rarities. Um, Two of the films that were featured were some of the films that starred me on the Criterion Collection, including Kaneno Shindo's The Naked Island, Kaneno Shindo's first film, and A Man Escaped by Robert Bresson, his second film. I began with these films and they sort of stuck with me as a drug. Like, I always needed films as this good. They're both technically sound. It's not with like CGI or anything. They're just well crafted. Good cinematography, good direction, good acting, very minimalistic. Um, you see, Robert Bresson later has an influence on Wes Anderson with his film L'Argent, aka Money, when he uses very minimalistic shots. He doesn't, instead of orthogonal shots, I mean, one of them uses orthogonal shots, one of them uses isometric shots. I forgot what the definitions of each are at the moment. So, you notice, but one's like 45-degree angles, one's like flat, 0 degrees. I never got a chance to meet him. Yeah, I just sort of wanted to be quiet so I can think about the fact that he's gone. For those who are wondering about The Naked Island, it's a film with no dialogue and all cinematography. So it's truly, like, you really get a connection with the director in this film because it's considering that's all done by the director. It's all director based. Because directors have a lot of influence from mise-en-scene, especially someone like Kanao Shindo, who was influenced by the great Kenji Mizoguchi, who was very big on mise-en-scene and very well praised for it, and that's what all his fellow directors praised him for. And with that, you have to work with a good director of photography, and you yourself have to be a great director of photography. I'm pretty sure Kanado Shindo learned that when he was making The Naked Island, because it was very, every shot like mattered. It really connected you with nature in the film. Um, yeah, like it was very interesting that it had both A Man Escaped and The Naked Island and Cinema Rarities at the same time on Hulu for the Criterion Collection. Because, like, A Man Escaped is sort of like this religious Christian moral film where you had to figure out the dilemma of whether you wanted to take another guy in with you to escape the Nazis in Vichy, France. Whereas in The Naked Island, it was more of a atheist film. Like, that film had a sad ending and possibly was inspired by Kaneko Shindo's loss of his mentor Kenji Mizoguchi. And yeah, it sort of feels like how how we feel now that Kaneko Shindo's gone. You see it later in Kanaro Shindo's later works like Kuroneko and not Igetsu, that was Kenji Mizuguchi. That was the work that Kenji Mizuguchi worked on that inspired Kuroneko and Onibaba. That's what the other one was. Right, Onibaba. They're both these resurrected female figures that came back to power to avenge their deaths. But they were still human and still somewhat feminine by the tragedies that they ended up dealing with after life. I personally feel that you could debate whether they're actually feminine or not, but at the time, I guess they were pretty empowering for women. It's basically like watching DOA beach volleyball, except with more realistic physics. Anyway, that was a very big tangent. I mean, there's not much to say. They were both very well crafted films, and they were both in the Criterion Collection, and it's very good to see them on there now. I wish I made this video earlier. I think I summarized that up pretty well. Sorry for it to end so anticlimactic, but yeah, just wow, I can't believe he's gone. Well, let's not end it that way. Just okay, I'll end it on this note. Make sure you get to see your heroes. Like I saw, like Robert Axelrod at like Icon and stuff. Make sure if they're in the area, make sure you take the opportunity to go see them. So it's one less thing you regret in your life. That's what I have to say. You don't have to necessarily travel, but if they're in the area, definitely see them. And if a new guy like Joe Shishido showing up at New York Film Festival, and I didn't know who he was at the time because I didn't see, what do you call it? There's a ton of films I saw with him in it. But the Seijin Suzuki film that was in 1966 about the killers and the rice. Anyway, yeah, I didn't research who he was before he got here, and I really regret not having like he was right in front of me, and I didn't ask him any questions, and I really regret that now. So definitely don't let those opportunities go by. I end with you on that note. All right, PRPHD out.